Choosing your bike for a long distance triathlon is a very important decision because you are going to spend a lot of hours on top of it. And on today's episode, I'm going to run through the criteria and decisions that led me to buy this giant TCR. So let's start from the beginning. After signing up, you quickly start thinking about getting a bike. Personally, the last bike I had was 20 years ago, and it was a Kona for dirt jump, which had nothing to do with a road bike, and I never tried riding a road bike. So instead of going and search for a bike online, I decided to go to a specialized bike store. After speaking with the owner, I quickly realized that my budget will not fit my 4 criteria. And the criteria was a carbon frame, electronic gears, power meter crankset, and carbon rims. It quickly told me that, okay, what you are looking for costs between 5.5 and 6K, and you only have 3. And I was like, okay, then I'll have to make some concessions, and I did not want to. Fortunately, it had this one in store, secondhand. I don't know if it was like 1 or 2 years old, and it had all the equipment and more. I was very happy because it was my size S. And even though you can go for a size larger or smaller, that's not advised. You can go online and check your size. It depends from bike manufacturer to bike manufacturer. I'll leave a link in the description for you to get an overview of your size according to your measures. One very important thing before I forget is for you not to leave the bike shop without a bike fit, even though it's not an electronic one. It's very important for you to feel comfortable in the bike, but also to have professional help, especially for the height of the seat and the shoes. The shoes have some clips that can be adjusted. One of the important things I wanted for a bike was comfort, and the carbon frame does exactly that. Second thing, a seat, comfortable for long distances. Also, it will depend on your clothing, obviously, but this one is S-Works with a carbon plate underneath. It's an expensive seat. It's not the stock option of this bike, but it was with this second-hand one, so I was very happy for it to be included. Another criteria, the carbon rims. Even though it was not an essential criteria, I kind of like the look of it, and I mean, you do have to be a bit passionate about the bicycle if you are going to spend so many hours on top of it. And to cover them, also these tires came with the bicycle, so they are Vittoria Corsa. And this is one of the things that you cannot go cheap when choosing tires for your long distance triathlon. And you will understand why if it's raining or if you have to do an emergency braking. Regarding disc brakes, I was very surprised to know that only some years ago they were introduced in road bikes, namely Tour de France and things like that. And I was very happy to know that because I was used to disc brakes 20 years ago with my dirt jump bike. These ones are really powerful. They are Shimano, Ultegra. They really do the job. Nothing much to say about it. So if you have to choose, just go with disc brakes. That's what I'm saying. Another important aspect I wanted was the crankset with power meter. And why? The power meter is very important for your workouts. To me, not so much to the race, but for the workouts, definitely. Because the coach sends you the workouts, or even if you download from the internet, they all have, or most of them have, a reference to the power output. Next up, electronic gears. These ones are again from Shimano. They have this setting, the auto adjust, which I was very surprised to see it working the first time, because even though it has Bluetooth and you can connect it to the computer, it's something that it surprises you. So 11 gears in the back, 2 gears in the front, a total of 22 gears. An important aspect about these electronic gears, the battery, which is located here, lasts for around 400 to 500 kilometers, which is more than enough for, I don't know, in a year I charged it 3 times. Handlebars, so there's a lot going on here, and this is the brain of the bike. This is where you control the brakes, gears, bike computer, and the tri-bar extensions. This was an add-on. I didn't have this in the beginning. These handles serve 2 purposes. One is obviously to brake, but you can also change the gears up and down. And there's these buttons, and they help you change the functions on the GPS or bike computer without taking your hands off the handle. Also, the tri-bars will provide additional comfort for your back over long distances. because you will have some place to rest, and you'll appreciate that after a couple of hours. For the bottle holders, the ones that came with the bike are carbon fiber, very expensive. In my opinion, there's no need for you to buy these expensive ones. They're like 25 euros each. You can get fairly cheap ones fitted, but you need at least two, because you are going to spend 3-4 hours on the bike and you need to stay hydrated. Lastly, you have the bike computer. I chose a Garmin 830. You can get cheaper options, more expensive options as well. I'm very happy with it. It has a long battery life, color screen. You can add the GPS maps to it. So overall, it's very good because it connects to Training Peaks, and I can have all the workouts downloaded directly to the bike computer. It also connects to the bike trainer, it connects to the Bluetooth heart rate device, it connects to the watch. If you have Polar or Garmin, everything connects with everything and you're set. And that's about it. I think that for the first bike, you need to balance between two important things. One being price, another being comfort. And for me, the priority were these two and not speed. That's for second, third, 10th race. If you want to spend 1,000 euros or if you want to spend 10,000 euros, just come up with a budget that you feel comfortable with and start working on that. Just beware that more often than not, you will end up spending a tiny bit more because of the unknown unknowns, which are the things that you don't know that always come up doing something for the first time. For me, 3K was an acceptable price for a bike. Also, it maintains value. So if tomorrow I want to sell it, of course, I'm not going to get 3,000 euros for it, but at least some of the value, if not most of the value, will be maintained if you maintain the bike in good shape. So to wrap it up, I think this is a road bike. It's a good option for a 70.3. And if you're asking, so Danny, you want to do an Ironman in 2 years, are you going to use the same bike or are you going to buy a TT bike, a time trial bike? Thanks for asking. Probably I will get time trial bike for the sake of comfort, long distance, because I'm going to spend surely 7 hours on top of the bike. And even though I don't have back problem, but after 4 hours, I start to get some back pain with this bike. I know that I can improve that with yoga or stretching, but I also know that with a time trial bike, the position will be different, a bit more aggressive, but better for the back. If you don't agree with me, either with the TT bike or with this bike, and any of these options, please leave a comment down below and leave suggestions, because I'm also learning with these videos. And this is a journey, it's a never-ending journey, and I'm going to learn a lot more on my road to the full distance Ironman. So should you go for a 1K bike or a 10,000-15,000 euro bike? That's up to you, that's up to your budget. Just think about price and comfort if it's the first race, and let me know your opinions. So thank you for watching and see you next week.